this is Stephanie Manley with Copycat.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make Texas Roadhouse yeast rolls. These are a fantastic roll if you've never tried them. They're wonderful and sweet. And later we're going to show you how to make the cinnamon and honey butter that goes with them. Now I actually have a couple of ingredients here that I suggest. The first one is to go ahead and use bread flour. I think bread flour for yeast rolls gives you a much better product. It just comes out better. If you don't have it, you can use all-purpose, not a problem. But if you're gonna go to the trouble to make them, why not use bread flour? The second is this SAF instant gold yeast. Now, this is a specialty product. You can use regular yeast, I will say that. But these rolls have a higher sugar content in them, and this yeast does better with higher yeast doughs. And I think that this is one of the distinguishing characteristics that makes these rolls very unique, because they're sweeter and they use a proprietary yeast blend, and this, in my opinion, is the closest I can get to this. You can buy this from Amazon.com. You can probably find it at some local bake shops, and I will leave a link down below where you can buy this yeast. It's not that expensive, and it really lasts a long time. But again, you have a packet of Fleischmann's that you bought at the grocery store, we're good to go. All right, so we have 3.5 cups of flour in the bowl here. Now, since this is instant yeast, we don't need to proof the yeast. You can if you like. Now, when I say proof the yeast, that means we're gonna have warm milk. We're going to add our yeast to the milk, and we're also gonna add our sugar in here. And then we would let this go till it bubbles. But again, we don't need to do that because it's instant yeast. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour everything in here very carefully. So I really think the butter, the egg, and the sugar in here really gives us a nice flavor. If you're from Texas, this is gonna remind you a lot of the kolache. It's a wonderful Polish pastry that we have here that we often have for breakfast. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in everything else. So we have our egg in here. We're gonna add our butter. And finally our salt. And since we have this mixer, I'm just gonna let it do the job, and we're gonna stop this when it forms a nice ball. You can do this by hand, you don't need a mixer. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so I pulled my dough out of the mixer. It got mixed to the proper consistency. Now I'm just gonna let this rise till it's doubled in size. This could take 30-40 minutes. It just depends how warm it is in your kitchen at the time. So we're gonna come back after the initial rise. Okay, so our dough has risen. It has more than doubled in size, and now I'm just gonna take it and I just wanna kind of press it out into a nice long rectangular shape. And then we're actually gonna let it rise a second time. You could use a rolling pin if you like. Since their rolls are kind of square shaped, we're just gonna go ahead and continue that. Just kind of put them in a rectangle, then we're gonna cut them, and we're gonna let them rise again the second time. I'm just using the back of a knife. Right, and I'm gonna put them on a cookie sheet with just a little bit of nonstick spray on it, and I'm gonna just lay these out until they double in size again. All right, so we have let these raise for the second time, and next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in the oven, and we're gonna bake them for just a little bit. Be sure to go to the blog, copycat.com, for the exact temperature and the exact time. All right, so it's time to make the honey butter for these rolls as they've just come out of the oven. So in here I have about a half cup of butter, and I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of powdered sugar. I'm gonna add just a little bit of cinnamon. I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on how much you like. You should add that. And we're gonna add about a good tablespoon of honey. And we're just gonna stir this together. This is really easy to make. And you know what? It goes well on biscuits or French toast or just about anything. We add a little bit of powdered sugar in there to give it just a little bit of body. You can see it's practically done right now. All right. So we're gonna set this to the side, and we've just taken our rolls out of the oven. I'm gonna brush them with a little bit of butter and we'll be all done. Okay, just before serving these, you might like to go ahead and brush them with a little bit of butter. This gives them a nice shine and just a really nice flavor. You can see how wonderful they look. They're nice and golden brown. Okay, so time for the moment of truth. Got one of these hot rolls right here. It's really hot. Okay, I'm gonna put on a little bit of this honey butter. I'm gonna give this a taste. All right, they taste just like they do at the Texas Roadhouse. The rolls are nice, light and airy, a little bit sweet. You can really tell that we used the milk and the egg and the butter and the dough, and we topped it off with the cinnamon honey butter. It's really, really good. So I hope you give this recipe a try. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss our next recipe. Be sure to give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below of what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.